Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Myself Wasim. This is the continuation of the video. The book reading His Throne Was on Water, chapter 2, the creation of the universe of the scientists. Until the end of 19th century, the universe was thought to have existed as seen today, namely eternal and unchanging. One can imagine that God created an eternal and unchanging universe at any time in the past. However, the theory of general relativity and the fact that galaxies are receding from Earth, as evidenced by the redshift of their spectrum, caused scientists to consider the possibility that the universe, far from being static, was actually expanding and moving away. This has now been accepted as fact. Such an expansion gives rise to the suggestion that there must have been a beginning, or as formulated in accepted scientific literature, a Big Bang. An expanding universe suggests that there must be physical reasons why there has to be a beginning, but the theory of general relativity cannot explain how the universe began. From a fixed external space and time, which has always been empty, the universe, for an unknown reason, was nucleated at a specific point and caused a Big Bang, that it blew apart. When space and time appeared, the actual point was a singular point, at which all laws of mathematics and physics broke down and could not be applied. In 1965, Roger Penrose studied the way light cones behave in general relativity, and given that gravity is always attractive, showed that a star collapsing under its own gravity would be trapped in a region whose surface would eventually shrink to zero. Just as the region's surface shrinks to zero, so must its volume. All of the matter in the star would be compressed into a region of zero volume, which would cause the density of matter and curvature of space and time to become infinite. In other words, one has a singularity contained within a region of space-time, a phenomenon that has been termed as black hole. Professor Stephen Hawking of the University of Cambridge, who was the research student at this time, believed that if one reversed the direction of time in Penrose's theorem and thereby transferred a collapse into expansion, the conditions of this theorem would still hold. He postulated that what happens to stars could help explain the beginning and end of the universe. He thought that if one were to reverse the sequence of time, one could imagine the universe's gigantic star in the process of a collapse. Penrose explained that a dying star, whose mass would be much greater than the sun's, would eventually exhaust into its nuclear fuel if core would contract and then begin to collapse under the enormous weight of the outer layer. This would be affected by its own gravity. Eventually, it would shrink to singularity. It is defined as a point of infinite density and zero size. At this stage, it is referred to as a black hole or an unseen star. The black hole stage was predicted by the theory of general relativity. Nothing can escape from a black hole. Its radius is called the event horizon, or the Schwarzschild radius, after the German astronomer Karl Schwarzschild, who predicted the existence of invisible stars in 1907. For a body to escape the gravitational dominance of a black hole, it must have a speed greater than the speed of light, which is impossible. A black hole can have any size depending upon its age, mass, and angular momentum. The diagram of the beginning of the time and space according to Big Bang theory. It poses a point of singularity where the laws of mathematics and physics cannot be applied. A black hole, it is not completely black, however it emits gamma rays and X-rays. If an astronaut were to enter a black hole, he would be entering a point of no return. As he approached the center, the curvature of the space-time whirlpool would continue to increase and eventually become infinite at the singularity center point. Under such conditions, no outside observer would be able to make contact with the astronaut in the question. This latter individual in turn would be compressed to near infinity density, losing in process virtually every property of identity except mass, electric charge, and angular momentum. In the long history of the universe, many stars must have exhausted their nuclear fuel and collapsed into upon themselves. The number of black holes may be greater than that of visible stars, about 100 billion in our galaxy alone. There is evidence of a large black hole in our galaxy's center. The theory of general relativity predicts a certain path for each particle. According to quantum mechanics, there is an element of chance or uncertainty. A particle does not have a single path through space and time, for there is an uncertainty principle according to which a particle's exact position and velocity can ever be known. Hawking studied the effect of quantum mechanics on particles near a black hole and found that particles would escape a residual radiation. This discovery indicated that black holes were not as black as we thought originally. In a black hole, negative energy particles are created and radiation can escape. According to quantum mechanics, space is filled with virtual particles and antiparticles that are constantly materializing in pairs, separating, coming together again, and eventually annihilating each other. In the presence of a black hole, one member of this pair may fall into the black hole and leave the other member without a partner to be annihilated. The forsaken particle would appear as a radiation emitted by the black hole. Black holes evaporate at varying rates until they disappear in a giant explosion. According to Hawking, an astronaut in a black hole would come back to the universe in form of radiation. In other words, he would be recycled. Hawking believes that when the universe stops expanding, it will begin to contract. As this universal process of a star, as this is the usual process of a star. However, time will not reverse direction. The universe will have two possible directions: continued and eternal expansion, or collapse and extension in a big crunch. He believes it will come to an end. How the universe was made and what is happening in it, how it will end, has been the subject of many studies. None of the resulting theories are simple enough for ordinary people to understand. No matter how modest the scientists, they have been unable to make the subject simple enough for everyone to appreciate. Even when one feels that he or she has reached the highest point of human reasoning, he or she is still very far from the truth. What is known today, a universe created at a point of singularity that does not comply with mathematical or physical laws, started with a Big Bang and possibly may finish with a Big Crunch. Some scientists replace the point of singularity with a rounded or curved and through the use of mathematics based on imaginary direction of time. This ball-shaped structure, which would obey mathematical and physical laws, would not present the facts for itself, a consistent structure that cannot be created or destroyed and is based on imaginary direction of time. A universe that has no point of singularity, the laws of mathematics and physics could not be applied. It is self-constrained and does not necessarily need a creator. The universe as suggested by the Quran. Although the Quran is not a book of science, it contains many references to scientific facts. These were given in a manner designed to suit the minds and education of the people at a particular point in time. Quran says, "And we sent on the book so you could make clear to them those things in which they differ, and that it should be guide and mercy to those who believe." It is unwise to dismiss such facts or treat them lightly. In the last chapter, variation between God and man was discussed, and it was thought to be an early spiritual demonstration of time, the fourth dimension. Humanity had to wait for Poincare and Einstein to unveil the secrets of time. The creation of the universe has been revealed in Quran. When all of the facts are put together, a clear picture of how it began and where it is going to be revealed. A brief summary of the facts along with their possible scientific interpretation are presented in this chapter. God is the first, the last, evident, and innermost. Nobody can quantify such an assertion mathematically, cosmologically, or even by means of quantum mechanics. Quran says, He is the first and the last, the evident and hidden. He has full knowledge of everything. He created the heavens and earth in 6 days, and His throne was upon the waters, according to Surah Al-Hud. Quran says, He created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and His throne was upon the waters. And He might try you to see which of you is best in conduct. If you were to say to them, we shall be raised up after death. If you were to say to them, we shall raise after death, the unbelievers would reply, this is only obvious mockery. He directed His attention to the heaven when it was smoke and fashioned it into 7 heavens in 2 days. He caused each heaven to conform to His orders for it, adorned the lower heaven with lamps, and preserved it from intruders. That's a Quranic verse. It is now known that space is not empty as once believed. Astronomical observations have detected, both in interstellar space and in nebulae, rarefied matter consisting of about 99% gas, mostly hydrogen and helium, and 1% dust, that is smoke. These dust-sized particles have compositions similar to those of such terrestrial materials as silicon, compounds, iron oxide, ice crystals, and a host of other small molecules, including organic ones. The original cloud would have consisted mainly of the most common element in the universe, hydrogen. Hydrogen atoms are fast-moving, and the only gravitational pull of a large mass can prevent them from escaping into space. The gases and the dust found in the universe might be remaining residing from the creation of heaven. Quran says, moreover, He directed His attention to the sky, which had been made of smoke. He said to it and to the earth, come together either willingly or not. They replied, we come together willingly. He then fashioned them into 7 firmaments in the 2 days, and assigned to each heaven its duty and command. We adorned the lower heaven with the lights and with the guard. So decrees God, the one asserted in might, full of knowledge. He created the heavens, 7 heavens, and upon another with no obvious fissures or cracks. The more one looks at them, the more one becomes dazzled and amazed at their making. Quran says, He who created the 7 heavens, one above another, you will see no defect of proportion in creation of God, the most gracious. Look again. Do you see any flaw? Look a second time. What you will see appears to you as a dull and discomfited, worn out. The heavens and the earth were a sewn-up mass that God constitched. As mentioned above, the heavens were made from smoke. Contemporary scientists support the view that the solar system was formed from a vast cloud of whirling gas and dust that was drifting through space about 5 billion years ago. And 4.6 billion years ago, particles were condensed or drawn together to form a large, dense central mass, the Sun. The remaining material, now rotating around the Sun, condensed to form planets and other heavenly bodies, and were bound to the Sun by force of gravity. This supports what is stated in the Quran. Quran says, do the unbelievers not see that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one unit of creation before we caused them to separate? We made every living thing from water. Will they still not believe? He raised the heavens without pillars that man can see. God raised the heavens without any pillars that you can see. Then He established Himself on the throne of authority. He subjected the sun and the moon to His law, and each one runs its course for an appointed term. He regulates everything and explains science in detail so that you may believe with certainty in your meeting with Him. That is Quran, chapter 13, verse 2. God has stated that heavens and the earth possess Akhtar, an Arabic word signifying a region of diameters. If it is taken to mean diameters, the heavens and earth would be either oval or round in shape, for these are the only geometric figures that have diameters. God's throne, his symbol of power and authority extends over the heavens and the earth. God says in Quran, "O jinn and man, if you can pass beyond the diameters of the heavens and the earth, then pass, but you shall not be able to pass without authority." And Quran says, "God, there is no God. God, God, but there is God. There is no God but He, the living, the self-subsisting, the eternal. Neither slumber nor sleep can seize Him. All things in heaven and earth belong to Him. Who can intercede with Him except those whom He allows to do so? He knows what appears to His creation as before, after, or behind them. They shall only gain knowledge of what He wills for them. His throne extends over the heavens and the earth, and He feels no fatigue while guarding and preserving them, for He is the Most High, the Supreme." Contemporary scientists believe that the universe is probably boundless. Our Sun and its planets revolve with 100 billion other stars in the Milky Way, which is only one galaxy among the countless others. The preceding verses suggest that we live in a universe that is probably round or oval in shape and surrounded by several concentrically arranged heavens. The lowest heavens, which surrounds the inner ball or oval, contain our stars and galaxies. God's throne, which extended over the heavens and earth, was on water. 11 is chapter2-7. The scientific implication of this verse tempted the author to choose its meaning as title of the book. However, it is very difficult to imagine that the universe is surrounded by water in a liquid state. Modern science has uncovered the two new facts that shed some light on why God's throne is said to be in water. First, space is not empty as one thought, for astronomical observations have detected both interstellar space and nebulae, rarefied matter consisting of about 99% gas, mostly hydrogen and helium, and 1% dust-sized particles having composition similar to silicon compounds, iron oxide, ice crystals, and a host of other small molecules, including organic ones. Second, scientists know that based on quantum mechanics, space is filled with virtual particles and antiparticles that materialize continuously in pairs, separate, and come together repeatedly until they eventually annihilate each other. In other words, they form a sea of particles and antiparticles that fill the space of the universe. This could be either electrons and anti-electrons, or protons and antiprotons. Contemporary physics describes atoms as containing only three particles: protons and neutrons, which are located inside nucleus, and electrons, which are located outside the nucleus. Scientists have been able to build artificial atoms with protons and neutron numbers different from that occur naturally. Such unstable atoms are said to be radioactive. However, this same scientists cannot change one atom into another. For example, the difference between gold and iron is 53, yet scientists cannot change iron into gold. Such a task is quite easy for God, who is also able to build all atoms of each and every element from the basic particles known to physics, namely protons, neutrons, and electrons. Hydrogen, the most common element in space, has been discovered in interstellar space and nebulae. Its atomic number is 1 and its electronic structure is 1s1. Out of this basic element, and with an abundance of particles and antiparticles in the universe, God can create easily all elements by means of nucleosynthesis in the stars. The electronic structure of the oxygen is Is2 2s2p4, and its atomic number is 8. So he can easily structure H2O from hydrogen. This may explain the words his throne was on the water. The atomic structure of hydrogen and oxygen. Stars like the Sun act as a huge furnaces in which continuous nuclear reactions occur. Proton-proton reactions are produced when they collide into each other. Colliding protons build up a nucleus of heavy hydrogen and throw off a positron and a neutrino. The heavy hydrogen nucleus then combines with another proton to produce light helium and gamma ray, which is burst of energy that eventually makes its way to the sun's surface. Finally, two light helium nuclei fuse and produce an ordinary helium nucleus. This process feeds two protons. Nucleus reactions in the sun occur around the core, then helium remains after its conversion from hydrogen. The resulting energy then arises at the surface and radiated into space. It is quite possible that in the given set of furnaces, all atoms or different elements are baked or produced from the basic and most prevalent atom, hydrogen. Figure 5 attempts to capture all suggestions made about the universe in one illustration. Only God knows what the real structure of the universe looks like. A ball-shaped universe does not contradict the Big Bang theory, for it has necessary feature of point of singularity at the center. Virtual particles and antiparticles have existed in the universe. The presence of such particles in space may be the storehouse where God keeps various elements of matter. Quran says, and there is nothing but its sources and inaccessible treasures are with us, but we only send down what is necessary in due and uncertain measure. The Quran presents strong evidence that the universe is expanding, for God has stated that He created the heavens and is widening them. We know that the universe is expanding at the rate of 5 to 10% every 1 billion years. We consider the heavens, Quran says, we consider the heavens with power and skill, for it is who steadily expand it. Such a laborious work accomplished by God in His magnificent creation did not leave Him tired or fatigued. Indeed, one would expect God to be even busier while running the universe's affairs. We created the heavens, and Quran says, we created the heavens and the earth and all that is between in 6 days, no sense of weariness touched us. Truly your Lord is God, who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. Then He established Himself on the throne of authority, regulating and governing everything. No intercessor can plead with Him unless He allowed it. This is God your Lord, therefore serve Him. Will you not then keep Him in mind? Quran. Again, Quran says, each creature in the heavens and on the earth asks of Him. Every day He manifests Himself in yet another wondrous way. This certainly implies that God has no need for rest, as do human beings, and that He is living everlasting and has no need for either slumber or sleep. Although He said that He established Himself upon the throne after creation, this does not mean that He requires rest. If anything, it illustrates His might and ownership of the universe. Quran says, God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. He is firmly established on the throne. He knows what enters the earth, what comes from it, and what comes down from the heaven, and what ascends to it. He is with you wherever you are and sees all you do. The creation of the heavens and the earth was completed by the 6th day. Earlier it was shown that time varies depending upon object's location in the universe. One day can be either 1,000 or 50,000 years. The length of the days on our solar system's planets also differ. It can be as short as 11 hours Uranus, as long as 42 to 43 days Venus. Thus, it is impossible to determine how long a day with God would be, although science has estimated approximate duration of various stages of creation in human terms. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. Quran says, God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of His light is thus: there is a niche, and within its lamp, the lamp enclosed in glass, the glass a brilliant star lit from a blessed tree, an olive tree, neither of the east or west, whose oil is luminous, though find it hard to touch it. Light upon light. God guides whom He will to His light. He sets forth parables for man, and He knows all things. His light is everlasting, and wherever there is light, there is day. as God's light is everlasting. His days must be everlasting. In other words, one will never know how long it took God to create the universe. If God opened a gate in heaven and invited man inside to wander around, he would be dazzled and believed himself bewitched. Quran says, even if we open to them a gate of heaven and they were ascending there all day, they would say, our eyes have been intoxicated, we have been bewitched by sorcery. He prevents the heavens from falling on our planet, according to Quran, has provided them with a well-guarded canopy and has filled them with numerous paths representing of orbits and planets around each star. Quran says, do you not see that God has made everything on earth subject to you, and the ships that sail on the sea by His command? He does not allow the sky to fall on the earth except by His will, for He is most kind and most merciful to man. Quran says, we have made the heavens as a well-guarded canopy, but still they turn away from the signs that these things, but the sky with its numerous paths. This is another verse which says, but the sky with its numerous paths. All inhabitants of earth, whether organic or inorganic, require the lowest heaven, that is, star, clouds, and rain for their existence. It is the only part of the heaven that is visible to all forms of life on Earth's surface. For this reason, God created the lowest heaven in such a way that it would protect the Earth's organic and inorganic inhabitants from destruction or decay. He created the stars as ornaments in the lower heaven and arranged them in constellations. Thus, it is not surprising that God should use the position of stars as a mighty oath. Quran says, we have indeed adorned the skies nearest to the earth and beauty of stars. Blessed is He who made constellation in the skies and placed therein a lamp and a light-giving moon. Further, Quran says, furthermore, I call the setting of the stars to witness, and indeed a might adjuration if you but knew. In 150 AC, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy listed 48 constellations. A total of 88 constellations are now known to cover the northern and southern skies. As stated earlier, countless stars are strung out in space, but only about 2,000 are visible to naked eyes at any time from Earth. Stars were also created to protect the heavens and against the Satans. They tried to touch the heaven to listen to the highest council, but found that lowest heaven was full of tracking, piercing flames that attacked them from every side. Quran says, we have adorned the skies nearest to the earth with stars, and to guard against all obstinate or rebellious evil spirit, that they should not be able to listen to the exalted assembly, but be cast away from every side, repulsed, for they are under perpetual penalty, except those who snatch something by stealth. They are pursued by a flaming fire of piercing brightness. Quran says, and we reached out towards heaven, but we found it filled with 10 guards and Quran. This is jinn speaking in Quran. And we reached out, we means jinns, and we reached out towards the heaven, but we found it filled with stern guards and flaming fires. Indeed, we used to sit there in the hidden stations to hear what was being said, but anyone who listens to know is flaming fire waiting for him in ambush. It is very interesting that the word rasad is used to describe a type of piercing flame awaiting the intruders. In Arabic, the word signifies a three-dimensional point in space at a specific point of time, and often is used to indicate the position of celestial bodies. Given this, rasad describes how the piercing flames reaches an intruder by anticipating its three-dimensional trajectory in a specified fraction of time. This is not unlike modern rockets. God created the lamp, sun, and light-giving moon. He left no doubt about the nature of both objects. Quran says, blessed is he who made constellations in the skies and placed therein a radiant lamp and light-giving moon. Quran says, do you not see how God has created the seven heavens, one above another, made the moon a light in their midst, and made the sun as a radiant lamp. The sun provides the light and heat upon which all life on earth depends. It light takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to cross the 93 million mile gaps to us. The sun's size is ideal. If it were as big as the red giant Betelgeuse in the constellation of Orion the Hunter, it would engulf Earth. If our planet orbited the blue giant region, all life it would have been roasted. This demonstrates how the sun's mass, 333,000 times that of Earth, or 20 into 10 raised 30 kg, and temperature has made life possible on Earth. Otherwise, life might have developed on Mars or another planet according to God's will. Contemporary scientists say that our sun was formed 4.7 billion years ago. Its surface temperature is roughly 6,000 degrees Celsius, and its central temperature is estimated to be 15 billion degrees Celsius. Under these conditions, atoms are crushed together in nuclear fusion reactions as if they were a hydrogen bomb and generate a glowing brightness that is visible to human eye. During this process, many hydrogen atoms are transformed into helium atoms. Those that are not are changed into the energy that appears on the sun's surface as light and heat. According to scientists, 4 million tons of hydrogen are turned into energy every second. Based on this formula, it will take at least another 5 billion years for the sun to exhaust into its fuel. Recent scientific progress has made it possible for man to appreciate the fact that the sun will eventually consume its nuclear fuel and die. God has ordered the sun and the moon run a determined course that will last for long as He decides. The sun cannot catch the moon, and each is swimming in a special orbit. Quran says the sun cannot catch the moon, and each is swimming in a special orbit. Quran says, "Do you not see that God emerges night into day and day into night, and that He has subjected the sun and the moon, each running its course for a term appointed, and that He is well acquainted with all that you do?" Quran says the sun is not allowed to catch up with the moon nor the night to outstrip the day. Each swims along its own orbit. We will stop here today. We'll continue tomorrow from here. Assalamu alaikum.